Welcome back to the channel. I'm Reed. This is Man Cave Guitar Pedal Mania. It's April the 2nd, 2020 as I'm filming this video. For anybody who's found this video far in the future, we're in the middle of the worldwide pandemic for COVID-19, and like almost everybody else, I am sheltered at home. And it's taken me a few weeks to kind of shake off the funk from that and do anything productive, but I have taken the time to go out to the shop and finish up my solo music instruments double neck SG build. Here it is. I am really happy with the way this thing turned out. So I am pretty proud of the way that came out. So 3-tone stain job. Set a 12 string on top and a 6 string on the bottom. I still have a lot of setup work to do. I'll do another video to wrap this up and show you how it sounds. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the kit itself. So what did I like, what did I not like, and what did I think of the kit? Well, I'm going to give the kit a solid 94 points out of 100. I give it an A. You would be crazy to attempt this as your first ever guitar build, but if you kind of sort of know what you're doing, it's quite good. The kit was missing 6 screws. They're just pick guard screws. Now in the shop I keep a lot of screws, so I didn't even bother calling them. They have a very good reputation for customer service, and I have no doubt that if I had called them and said, hey, I'm missing 6 screws, they'd have sent me 6 screws. Now, interestingly, they sent me 2 back plates for my rear control cavity. I don't know why. I have plugged this in just long enough to make sure that my wiring works and I can hear my pickups and everything. The pots are the little dime-sized pots. They're very common on import guitars. The volumes are fine. The tones are awful. Honestly, though, at this price point, that's not really unexpected. The tuners are actually surprisingly stable feeling, which is good because replacing 18 tuners would be a considerable cost. Now, I did, without even listening to the stock pickups, I put in different pickups. There was a very specific thing I wanted to do with this guitar, so I can't speak to the pickups. I'm sure they're fine. Probably indistinguished, but fine. The necks, and well, the wood in general is very good. The fit of the neck to the body is as tight as any bolt-on I have ever experienced. I've built other products. I've built a kit from Do-It-Yourself Guitars one time, or Build Your Own Guitar, sorry. I've done a bunch of Warmoth guitars. I've had custom-built bodies. These necks are just spot on. They were perfect. The fretwork on them is quite good. Now, I initially thought maybe I would need to do some leveling, but I checked them when I bolted them on and they actually felt just fine. The fret ends feel good, so top marks for that. The switches feel okay. They're not outstanding. The wood came very well sealed. In fact, a little too well sealed. This guitar was obviously meant to be painted and not stained. As you can see, some of the variations in the color, even within the individual areas, that's where I didn't quite get all of the sealer sanded off. So that's positive or negative depending on what you're doing. My only other slight problem with it was 2 of the peg head screws. You can see the peg heads have a little screw on the back to prevent them from torquing left and right. So there's 18 peg heads on this, 18 screws. 2 of them were not quite deep enough. Now, in one way, that's no big deal. In another way, anybody who has ever broken off a peg head screw knows that that is an extraordinarily big deal. So I've done this enough that I knew not to over torque those screws and break off the head. If I had done that, I don't know what I would have done at that point. Well, I guess drilled them out, filled the holes, and do it again, because that's about your only choice. But that's an awful lot of work. So I need to get this thing set up and tuned and intonated, adjust my action and all of that. I'm not going to film that, but I am going to plug it in and hear how it sounds. So I can't wait. So far, I am really happy with this build. I know it's eccentric. I don't go for the same colors that everybody else does, but hopefully some other people think it's cool. But most importantly, I hope it sounds great. I've never played a 12-string before. I'm really excited. Welcome back, everyone. As I film this, it's April 15th, 2 weeks after I filmed the introduction. So I've really had some time to spend with this solo guitar's double neck, and I can update my thoughts previously. So, was time kind to the solo guitars kit? Actually, no, it was not. Now, I still say the wood of this kit was phenomenal. The neck and the body are fantastic. So that is great. I'm also very happy with the pickups that I selected for it. As you can see, I've got these GFS, I think they're called True 90s. They're humbucker-sized P90s. And listen to how quiet that is. This is live. But super, super quiet, even with... It's pretty good gain. And not a lot of noise from the pickups. And the lipstick style humbuckers on the 12-string are bright and chimey, just exactly what I wanted. So super happy with those pickups. Now, as for the things that I've had difficulty with, well, it all started with stringing it up. I think that my kit included 2 sets of D strings instead of a D set and a G set. Now, the strings are not marked. They all just have brass ball ends. So it is possible that this was user error, but I have strung up a lot of guitars, and I could not find any discernible difference between 2 pairs of strings, and both pair intonated, or I should say tuned up to D just fine, but the one pair would not go to G. So I had to order more strings. That was annoying. So this guitar is completely strung up with the strings that came with the kit. And they are not good strings. I have spent 2 weeks fighting with this guitar, and I cannot get it intonated. It won't stay in tune, and that might be because of the tuning machines themselves, but these feel really solid. I think it's because of the cheap strings. If you don't set up guitars, or you typically buy good strings, you may not know what a difference strings make in your guitar's playability, but they make a huge difference. So, in fact, this is my second attempt at recording this video, and just in that time, I had to retune this guitar, and it's already out of tune again. Intonation is a huge problem on this 12-string. So let me illustrate this for you. Have my pick here. Here is my low E string. Whoops, sorry. The problem with double necks. Okay, my tuner says this is pretty much in tune. Maybe just a little flat. And here's the octave. That's in tune. Now, at the 12th fret, the octave, excuse me, these are hard to get individually. Sounds pretty good, right? But now, the lower E, that's almost an F. It is so sharp. So that's an issue. Both of those strings are going through the same saddle, and yet one is intonated and one is not. So I think I need to replace all of the strings on both guitars, which I haven't done because it's just so much extra work, and I just got tired of working with this project. But as it is, it's really not playable, which is too bad, because I think it sounds, I mean, just the raw sound is quite nice. But if I can't play chords with it, what's the point? I think of a 12 string as being just a strumming rhythm kind of instrument. I only want it intonated up to the 12th fret, but it has to be intonated up till the 12th fret. The 6 string is better, but it's still not holding tune the way I would like. I think that better strings will take care of that. Now also, there are a couple of slots in the saddle that really need to be filed down. That's not a big deal if you have nut files and you know what you're doing. And that's what I get back to with this kit over and over again. If you are an experienced luthier, this isn't really a big deal. If you've got the tools, if you've got the practice doing it, filing the nut down won't be any big deal. Hopefully, once I change the strings, getting the intonation right won't be that big a deal. But if you had never done this before, this would not be a good kit to get. I mean, I can just imagine doing this as a weekend project, you know, father-son kind of thing, and at the end of it, you have something that looks like an electric guitar, but you can't play it. That would be very, very discouraging. So, and I have to reserve judgment on whether changing the strings will actually fix my issues until I change the strings. So, I am going to say for now, I've changed my mind on this kit. I think it's a great platform. The wood is so good, and the necks are very, very good. The fret ends are just a little sharp. I thought they were, I mean, they're not bad. They're as good as many guitars that you would buy at a lower price point in the store, but I'm going to give them some love and they'll feel better. But again, you have to know how to do that, and you have to have fret end files if you want to do a good job of it. So if you don't have specialty tools and you're just expecting to bolt this thing together and have it be a great guitar, I think you would be disappointed. So I think this kit is very good for experienced home builders and for people that like to mod their guitars, but I think that for inexperienced people, this would be a horrible kit. So I'm going to downgrade my final grade to a C. I still think that I will come up with a great playing guitar out of this, but I would not recommend that anybody try this as their first kit. It's quite complex, and I just think the strings that they included are not good. Also, wiring up 4 pickups and it very, very complex. I am not a great solderer, and I've become kind of lazy over the past few years where so many companies are now offering plug-and-play connections, which I did not do with this. I soldered everything up myself, and it showed. When I first tried to plug in the guitar, I had a horrible hum, and I realized I had left a ground off someplace, and I had to go through it wire by wire to find out where I had left the ground out. So that is something to keep in mind. It's a very complex kit. Very complex kit with really, really good wood. I hope that changing the strings fixes all of my issues, because I don't want to buy 18 tuning machines to go in this. That's a lot more expense than I was planning to put into this project. So we get back to, for $300, which is about what this cost. I think it was $289. Is it worth it? Yes, if you have the tools, the time, and the ability, or if you want to gain the ability. I look at every project as a learning opportunity. I always try and do something I haven't done before, thus the 12 string on this one. But if you just want to build something and have it ready to go out of the box, I would stick with maybe a Les Paul Jr. type kit, or a Strat, like a hardtail type Strat or Telecaster kit, and I would not go with this. So there you have it. That is my final verdict. It is still in the middle of the COVID-19 lockdown as I record this, so I hope everybody is staying safe and sane, that you're finding ways to occupy yourself and be productive. I will put more videos up Soon, I hope, I've got a lot more things that I want to do. So in the meantime, I've been Reed, and this has been Man Cave Guitar Pedal Mania.